Taking another quiet moment here, sitting just as we are arriving on our mats. And then coming into a pranayama breath control practice, starting by just deepening the in-breath and slowing that out breath. With each inhale, imagine you're gonna breathe a little more fully into the lungs. And then invitation to make that exhale slightly longer than the inhale. Deep, expansive, full in-breath. Slow, complete out breath. And then beginning to move into your ujjayi breath, ocean breath, victorious breath. So imagine we create the gentle constriction at the back of the throat to create a sound, but with the lips gently together. Deep inhales through the nose. Full exhales through the nose, constriction at the back of the throat. And then gently letting go of that ujjayi for a moment. Completely letting go of breath control for a moment. Sitting again, just in a basic, easy pose, soft, easy breath. And then just call to mind, or imagine, or visualize a tree, any tree. And then bring your awareness down to the base of that tree where the roots connect to the trunk. So this very bottom, this base, provides the strength and the foundation to support the rest of the tree so that the rest of the tree can grow, develop, blossom, expand. And the very base of our yoga practice that allows the rest of our practice to come into existence, to grow, expand, is the yamas. And one of the core principles of the yamas is ahimsa, non-harm. The idea of moving through the world with grace, compassion, humility, giving others the benefit of the doubt. And it is this process that we base the rest of our practice on, growing into the rest of our limbs, one of which is our movement practice, asana. Even as we move into our asana today, movement practice, remembering that the purpose of asana is actually just one tool of many to facilitate deep exploration of the self so that we can continue to be the absolute best human beings that we can be. So maybe just keeping that in the back of your mind as we move through asana today, our movement practice. Gently floating or fluttering, eyes open. We're gonna scoot seated props out of the way and come around to tabletop quadruped. Taking a moment to just really tune into the feeling of this shape this morning. No movement just yet, but noticing the sensation of connections at the palms, fingertips, knees, shins, feet. And then begin to create a little bit of organic movement in your tabletop. Could look a little bit like a cat-cow or a side bend or a figure eight or some circles with the spine, letting go of expectation or an idea of what tabletop should look like. What the body is asking for, move in any way that feels supportive. And coming to stillness, taking one full breath in stillness in tabletop. And then sliding the hands out a little forward of the shoulder joint. Tuck the toes, float the tailbone. Find a long neutral spine, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a little organic movement in your down dog. Moving the hips, hands, spine, knees, feet. Again, letting go of expectation, what feels good in your down dog. Finding stillness. Full inhale, slow exhale. If at any point you want to come back to Ujjayi breath and use that through your practice, gentle constriction at the back of the throat as you exhale through the nose. Bringing a soft bend to the knees, allowing the gaze to come forward toward the fingers. Slow walking, deep bent legs toward the top of the mat, finding forward fold. Dangling down over the thighs, nice generous bend to the knees, soft spine, head, neck soft, letting hands draw down toward the earth or fingertips to opposite elbows. Take a little movement in your forward. Keeping a little organic movement as you slow roll up, start to align the spine, starting at the base. Stacking vertebrae one at a time, coming all the way up to long neutral spine near the top of your mat. Take a little shoulder roll up, back down. Allow hands to soften down beside the hips. And as we did in seated, rooting through your base, which is now the soles of the feet, finding long neutral spine, length at the back of the neck, soft shoulders, palms facing the outer part of the thighs or palms facing forward. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes, feeling into this first Tadasana, mountain pose, making any little micro adjustments. And floating the eyes open. Wait for your next in-breath. Use your in-breath. Sweep the hands overhead. Find upward hands pose. Take a little back bend. Gazing up past the fingers, pause. Take a couple breaths, really thinking about lengthening through the front body. Take another big inhale here with an exhale. We'll dive all the way over to full forward fold. Bending at the knees, parting the hands wide, hinging from the hips, softening knees and spine as you melt down over the legs. And then inhaling, find Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, pressing into the feet to lengthen the back of the legs. Fingertips slide to shins or thighs if it's in your practice. Maybe fingertips reach the top of the mat if we can stay long and neutral in the spine. Take another big inhale. Imagine that crown of the head drawing in opposition to the tailbone. Exhale, release Uttanasana. Hold. Inhale, sweep yourself all the way back up through upward hands pose, as much of a back bend as feels good. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhaling, lifting the hands, opening the heart. Exhaling, diving over Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling, softening. Inhale, circle sweep. Urdhva Astasana, upward hands. Exhale, Tadasana. One more time, your rhythm, your breath, meeting back in Tadasana. Waiting for your next inhale to start your movement. Tadasana, standing foundation. Full exhale. Use your inhale to open lift. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to plant the hands. This time we'll step the legs back again, finding tabletop. Finding that solid foundation, both legs, both hands, long neutral spine, crown of the head and tailbone in gentle opposition. Gently press the earth away with both hands, activating the shoulder. Gently pull the belly in and up, activating the core. Bring a little more weight to the left knee, shin. Slide the right leg back behind you. Pull the toes in, reach the heel away. See if you could lift that leg parallel to the earth and then lower that glute. Glutes are pretty level. Option to flow here just with the leg, or if you like, add the left arm, inhaling that left arm out in front of you, rotating pinky to face the earth. Flowing 3 times this side just with the leg or leg and arm, inhaling to create some length, exhaling round spine, elbow, knee, underbelly. Inhaling long. Exhaling in. Inhaling long. Exhaling table. Find that firm foundation in table. Our shoulders still engaged, his core still engaged. Slide the left leg back. Check in with that alignment of the hips. Try to find leg parallel to the earth. Glute lowers, heel reaches, toes pull. Really firming up left hand, shoulder, flowing just with the leg, or right arm reaches out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round spine. Elbow, knee, underbelly. Flowing 3 times this side. Do that last one. Moving through your table. Find that firm foundation in table. And option from top, flowing back to the first side, 3 more rounds, spinal balance, or slide the hands out a couple inches forward of the shoulder, tuck the toes, float the tailbone, downward facing dog. You can move back and forth from down dog to tabletop if at any point that feels better. Find your foundation in your down dog, bringing more weight over to the left leg. Inhale the right leg behind you, 3-leg dog. Find a moment here with hips square. Check in with how that feels. And then open hips to the right. Let the toe point. Big inhale. Exhale, coming forward. 3-leg plank. Knee towards same side elbow. Inhale, send it back. Tail of the dog. Exhale, bring it forward. Knee to heart. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, coming forward. Knee opposite elbow. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, down dog. Pausing in your tabletop or your downward facing dog for a few full breaths, or always an option to come down to a child's pose, wide knee pose, or puppy pose as you enjoy a few more full inhales, full exhales. Building your way back to tabletop or down dog, second side, spinal balance, or from down dog, inhaling the left leg back. Does it feel better with hips square? Do you like to open the hips up to the side a little? Inhale to create some length, drawing that leg back. Exhale to start to bring it forward, knee towards same side elbow. Inhale, tail of the dog. Exhale, coming forward, knee heart. Inhale, open. Opposite elbow. Inhale, lift, tail of the dog. Exhale, down dog. Find a few full breaths. Down dog, tabletop, child's pose. Taking one more full breath. Building your way back to tabletop or down dog. Coming to forward fold at the top of your mat. Slow walking feet forward one at a time, or bending the knees, gaze comes forward, silent hop or float forward with the feet. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, sweeping. Exhale, mountain. Finding that standing foundation. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, dive. Inhaling, half fold. Softening to plant the hands, pause in full forward fold. Ground the left foot, slide the right foot all the way back the mat toward Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Toes and ball of the foot come all the way back. We lower the knee and untuck the toe. Stepping hands up through the front knee or sweeping the hands directly overhead. Take a moment to check in with the front of the right hip. Did we find a little bit of a stretch? Option to bring your left foot a little further forward if you'd like, letting those hips sink nice and heavy. Imagine the tailbone, low ribs in, long neutral spine, crown of the head right over the center of the pelvis. We're gonna add in a little side bend here, bringing the left fingertips around the right wrist, create some length in arms and spine, and then exhale, side bend left. Inhale, lift yourself through center, release, switch, right fingertips, left wrist, exhale, side bend right. Inhale, lifting center, release the wrist, exhale, hands down to frame the front foot. We're gonna tuck the right toe, float the knee, and slide the left leg back for high plank pose, Palakrasana. And lowering knees, chest, chin to find our cobra. So we keep those elbows drawing in toward the body, lowering the knees down, keeping the belly engaged and lifted as heart lowers down toward the hands. And then we slide our way forward. Belly finds the earth, elbows pulling toward the back of our space. Use the low back. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Lift and lower a couple times here. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, relax. Pressing yourself up through tabletop. Tuck the toes if they're not there already. Lift the knees, downward facing dog. Pause. Few full breaths in your down dog. Always an option to take a few breaths in table or child's pose if that feels more interesting. Finding one more breath. Finding your way to downward facing dog. Inhale to send the right leg back for tail of the dog. Exhale to step the foot forward toward the hands. Right hand can come to ankle or calf support. Again, coming all the way forward, ankle under the knee. Lower the left knee, untuck the toe. Step the hands up through the front knee or sweep them right overhead on Vinyasa. Second side, letting those hips sink nice and heavy toward the earth, trying to find your neutral pelvis, square hips, crown of the head right over the center of the pelvis. Adding a side bend, each side, taking the right fingertips around the left wrist, create some length in arms and spine, side bend right. Inhale through center, switch your hands, exhale opposite side. In, release wrist, exhale, hands frame. Tuck the back toe, float the knee, slide, scoot, or lift and float left foot all the way forward, forward fold. Dangling down over the legs, full forward fold, soft knees, soft spine. Inhaling, half fold, flat back. Exhaling, release. Inhale, sweeping through upward hands pose. Exhaling, Tadasana. Inhaling, lifting the hands. Exhaling, diving over. Inhaling, half fold. Softening to plant both hands. Classical Surya Namaskar again, this time leading with the left leg. Ground through the sole of the right foot. Slide the left foot all the way back. Toes and the ball of the foot touch down. Lowering the left knee. Untuck the toe. Right knee stays. Stepping hands up through the front leg or bringing the hands overhead. Take that moment to observe, check in, make any little micro adjustments. And this side, adding in our twist. So again, find an inhale, create some length in the arms and the spine. As you exhale, as you inhale, twist back through center, lift the hands. Exhale, opening opposite side, lowering the hands, keeping the right knee directly over the right ankle. Inhale, lifting through center. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Tuck the left toe, float the knee, slide your right leg all the way back, plank pose, Palakasana. Lowering knees, chest, chin to find cobra. Elbows drawing in towards. Stays active and engaged as we come down, sliding forward, belly finds the earth, elbows pulling toward the back of our space, crown of the head lifts up and away from the shoulders as you open the sternum, using the low back to lift. Lowering back down, again, lifting and lowering a couple times, breath here, inhaling, exhaling, lower, inhaling up, exhaling, lower, keeping the knees down, press yourself through tabletop. If you're not there already, tuck the toes, downward facing dog, pause. If you're not there already, finding one more breath to move to downward facing dog. Waiting for an inhale, invite the left leg back, tail the dog. Exhale, bring it forward toward the hands. Hand comes to support leg as needed. So we find the ankle directly under the knee. Lower the right knee. Vinyasa. Again, take that little moment to pause, check in, make those micro adjustments. Big inhale, lengthening fingertips and crown of head. Exhale, twisting open to the left, hands float down. Inhale, lifting center. Twist right, letting that knee stay over the ankle. It wants to reach out to the left. Inhale, twisting back through center. Exhale, hands down to frame the front foot. Tuck the right toe. Float the knees, slide, scoot, or lift and float that foot all the way forward, forward fold, soft. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, soften. Inhale, slow roll or circle sweep up. Find your mountain, allowing yourself to come to Tadasana. Soften the gaze or close the eyes and find stillness just for a moment. Taking one more breath. Floating the eyes open. Next inhale, upward hands pose. Exhale, diving over. Inhaling, half lift. Softening to plant the hands. This time both legs come back. Traditionally float to low plank pose, but for us normal human beings, we're gonna step the legs back one at a time to find high plank. And then this first time through, again, we're gonna lower knees, chest, chin to find cobra. Elbows firmed in, knees lower, belly stays active, making our way down. This time just one Bhujangasana, inhaling lift, exhaling lower, lifting yourself through tabletop. Tuck the toes, float the tailbone, heels reaching for the earth, downward facing dog. One more full breath. Generous bend to the knees. Gaze comes forward. Slow walk, silent hop, or float the feet forward to the top of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to soften. Always option to take a slow roll up if that feels better, or inhale through upward hands. Exhale, Tadasana. So invitation to just play around here with a little low plank if that feels interesting today. If it doesn't, knees, chest, chin through cobra. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, long spine. Softening to plant in both hands, slow stepping legs back, one at a time, Palakasana, high plank pose. Knees, chest, chin to move through cobra, or keeping the knees lifted, elbows still drawing in toward midline. We let the body weight come forward a little bit, so as we lower down for Chaturanga Dandasana, the elbows stay over the wrists. Shoulders come no lower than elbows. We pause. We stay floated as we go from Chaturanga to upward facing dog. If we're flowing through up dog, we roll back over the toes through a high plank, lift the tailbone, downward facing dog. One more full breath. Big bend into the knees, gaze comes toward the top of the mat. Slow walk, silent hop, or float forward with the feet, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, soften. Inhale, slow roll or circle sweep. Tadasana. Again, pausing in your Tadasana, invitation to soften the gaze or close the eyes. Take that moment of observation. What are you looking for in your own practice this morning? What serves you best? I'm going to move through one more. Namaskar A, your choice. Knees, chest, chin, cobra. Plank, low plank, up dog, or skip it, do something else completely different. Your breath, your practice. As you're ready, your next inhale to start your flow will meet back in Tadasana. Finding your standing foundation, Tadasana. Inhaling, sweeping the hands up, Urdhva Asana. This time we're going to come into chair pose. So keeping those fingertips reaching, biceps frame the ears. Send the hips back and down. A little more weight comes into the heels. Again, here we gently draw that tailbone toward the earth. So we're trying to be long, neutral in the spine, not swayed in the back. If we glance down, we can still see our toes. If I lose my back or lose my toes, I'm going to decrease my angle in my knees just a little bit. Keeping fingertips extended if you like, or hands to heart center. Fingertips are extended. First part of our exhale draws the hands to heart, and we'll soften all the way over, full forward fold. Inhaling, half forward fold. Exhaling, softening to plant both hands, sending your legs all the way back. High plank pose, knees, chest, chin through cobra. Plank, low plank through up dog. Some other movement if you like, or just come right into a downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog. Whatever movement feels best. Meeting Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. One more full breath in your down dog. Waiting for an inhale, send the right leg back, three-leg dog, tail the dog. Exhale, we're gonna step that foot forward just behind the hands, not between, but just behind, and lift up to a warrior one. So as we lift up, our left heel is gonna connect to the earth, toes pointed toward front left corner of mat. We can again step hands up through the front knee if that feels good, or sweep the hands directly overhead, biceps frame the ears. And check in, that right knee landed about over the ankle. Again, that back foot is about 45 degrees. We're drawing our left hip forward, drawing our right thigh back, trying to find that neutral pelvis, not spilling anything out of the front or the back. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Take another big inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to bring the hands down just in front of the front foot. Lift the left heel. Slide your right leg back, plank pose. Find a flow if you like, or skip it. Come to down dog. Enjoy a few full breaths in down dog. One more full breath. With an inhale, left leg, tail the dog. Exhale, bring it forward just behind the hands. Right heel connects, toes point toward front right corner of mat. Step the hands up through the front knee or bring them directly overhead. Biceps frame the ears. Check in, find your warrior one this side. Big inhale, lengthen the crown of the head, lengthen the fingers. Exhale, hands come down just in front of the left foot as you lift the right heel. Slide the left leg back, plank pose, vinyasa if you like. Skip it, come right to down dog. Full inhale, full exhale. Drawing the belly toward the thighs, gaze comes forward. Slow walk, silent hop, or float forward with the feet. Forward folds. Inhale, half forward fold. From half fold, bend the knees, send the glutes back and down, open the heart, lift biceps to frame the ears, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhaling, lifting up, long spine, little back bend, upward hands pose. Exhale, find your mountain. Inhaling, lifting the hands overhead. Exhaling, find your chair. Fingertips extended if you like. Hands to heart center if you like. Low back feels good, toes are visible. Stay here or bring the weight forward onto the toes and balls of the feet and lift the heels, finding a balancing chair, elevated chair. If we're in balancing chair, lowering those heels back down. We're gonna flow to a high lunge. So your option, flow with hands overhead if you like, or bringing the arms a little lower down, heart center if you like. Bringing your weight over to your right leg, we're gonna lift the left heel, slide or scoot it all the way back, or if it's in your practice, lift and float it all the way back, touching down the toe and the ball of the foot. Find your high lunge or crescent pose if you float with hands to heart center. Once you find that lower body stability, pelvis neutral, hips square, heel reaching toward the back of your room, then maybe invite those hands up overhead, biceps frame the ears. And we're gonna find a little lift and lower here. So if it feels better, we can slide the back foot into a warrior one, connect the heel, toes point again to the front left corner of the mat. And if we're doing that, that heel is just gonna stay as it is. Or staying in crescent pose, Shandrasana, the heel will lift and lower with us as we press into the front foot, straighten the knee, hands flow down alongside the hips, then back into that front knee, hands lift. Flowing once more. After that last one, bringing your way back to Virabhadrasana 1 or Chandrasana, Warrior 1 or High Lunge Crescent Pose. And then we're going to open up to Warrior 2. So if we're flowing from Warrior 1, we're going to lengthen our... Rotate those toes out to face the long edge of our mat. Still right knee over ankle, knee tracking same direction as our second toe. And that gentle reach of the arms forward and backward as we keep the shoulders out of the ears, gazing just over the fingers of your right hand. And if you would like to stay here, Virabhadrasana 2, find a strong breath. That is one option. Or floating the hands palm face up, pressing into the front foot, straighten the knee. Fingertips meet overhead. We gaze up past the fingers. Floating back down into Warrior 2. Straightening the knee, lifting the hands, gazes high. If we're flowing, one more movement. If you're in Virabhadrasana 2, one more strong breath, meeting Warrior 2. Taking a little reach forward with the right hand, we're going to come to extended side angle. So we reach forward and then we either bring the forearm to rest very lightly on the knee, not actually resting our weight on it, or we take that forearm and we press it just inside the lower right leg. We're imagining one straight line from our left heel all the way through the side of the leg, side body, and top arm. Bicep frames the ear, fingertips reaching same direction as the crown of your head. Next, inhale, lifting Warrior 2, keeping that nice deep bend in the front knee. Letting the back hand float to the side, turn the front hand palm face up, reach forward again, and then slide your back hand down your thigh as you watch the top arm scoop overhead, reverse warrior. Next, inhale, lifting Warrior 2, flowing again, extended side angle, this time without a pause. Lifting Warrior 2, reverse warrior, Warrior 2. One more time through each. We'll meet back in Warrior 2. Straightening but not locking that front knee. Imagine a wall directly behind you. Our glutes and our shoulder blades are glued to the wall as we slide into Trikonasana. So again, we reach forward a little bit with that right hand. We let this left hip go. And imagine we're looking for a side stretch rather than a coming forward or a twist. So we keep the left shoulder in the same plane as the hips, which probably means we won't be able to get our finger to our toes. That's okay. It could come down to the inner thigh, inner calf, land on a block. Left hand can come to the hip, gazing up past the shoulder, or release the fingertips overhead, stacking the shoulder gazes past the fingers. Next, inhale, lifting your way all the way back to warrior two, bending back into the knee, lifting the torso, reaching the arms long. Take your left foot and heel toe it in just a little bit so it's a little closer to your right leg. Sweep the back hand across the thigh. As you do, we're gonna lift that heel, pivot, point the toes back toward the front of the mat. High lunge, crescent pose. Getting ready to come back to chair, Utkatasana. So again, you can flow with fingertips reaching if that feels better. Flow with hands to heart if that feels better. Big lean forward, hinging from the hips. Fingertips, crown of head pointed toward corner of wall and ceiling. Deeply bend the right knee, tippy scoot or lift and float. Utkatasana, big inhale. Exhale, let everything go, forward fold. Dangling through another breath here, or if you like, breathing through a half fold. And then starting to make your way back toward mountain, however feels good. Could be a slow roll, could be find stillness and circle sweep. That's a good idea. Grab a drink of water before we go to the second try. Long spine at the top of your mat. Next, inhale, Urdhva Astasana. Exhale, Utkatasana. And again, just decide or notice here, does it feel better to have those arms extended? Do they feel better coming a little lower down? Do I want to pause with both soles of my feet fully grounded, or do I want to come forward to a balancing chair? If we're in a balancing chair, lowering the heels, getting ready to come to Chandrasana or Virabhadrasana 1, flowing with the right leg, grounding through the sole of that left foot, lift the right heel, slide, scoot, or lift and float. Finding that little lift and lower flow. So if we're Chandrasana, that back heel's lifting and lowering along for the ride. If we're in Virabhadrasana 1, it stays connected as we press into the front foot, straighten the knee, hands float down. Finding one more movement, one more breath. Landing in warrior 1 or high lunge. Getting ready to open up to warrior 2. If we're in warrior 1, remembering we're gonna lengthen that stance. Find that lower body variation. Make those little micro adjustments. Find your arms engaged, gently reaching forward and backward, but shoulders out of the ears. Pause in a nice strong Virabhadrasana 2. Find a breath or find a rhythm. Find a flow. Hands turn palm face up. We press into that front foot, straighten the knee, gazing past the fingers as they meet overhead. One more movement or one more breath. Landing, Virabhadrasana 2. Reaching forward, extended side angle, gently resting the forearm on the thigh or forearm presses inside lower leg on the left. Back arm extends, fingertips reaching in opposition to the right heel. Next, inhale, lifting warrior two. Feel that warrior two again. Then finding your reverse warrior. Next, inhale, lifting warrior two. Flowing, 2 more cycles, your rhythm, your breath, no rush, meeting Virabhadrasana 2. Finding our Trikonasana, remembering we're smooshed between 2 planes of glass as we move. Front knee straightens but doesn't lock. We keep the right shoulder in line with the left and in line with the hips. As we reach the left fingertips forward, let that right hip go. Hand floats down maybe inside the thigh, calf, or fingertips rest on a block. Keeping the chest nice and open, hand to hip or right fingertips extended. Next inhale, lifting yourself all the way back up. Virabhadrasana 2. Heel toe in that back foot in just a little. Sweeping the back hand across the thigh, pivoting back to the ball of the foot, squaring ourselves to the top of our mat. Deep lean forward. Big bend in the front knee, tippy toe on the back. Slide, scoot, or lift and float forward. Utkatasana, and soften everything over. Forward fold. Dangle into this forward fold for a moment longer. Taking any other movement that feels good. Little side bend, little twist, figure eight the hips, shake, nod the head. Getting ready for a slow roll up or find stillness. Circle sweep your way up, finding one last mountain pose. Softening into a nice comfy mountain, enjoying a few full inhales, slow exhales. Next inhale, sweeping the hands up. Exhale, diving over, forward fold. Dangling through a breath or one last half fold here if it serves. Meeting full forward fold, planting both hands, sending your legs all the way back, high plank, plank pose. One last chance for a little flow here if you like, or maybe hold a plank or a half plank for a few breaths, or come right into a downward facing dog. Finding one more full breath or movement, meeting downward facing dog. Bringing the knees down wide onto the mat. Untuck the toes, toes point toward one another, hips to heels, wide knee child's pose. Lifting your way back up toward into a flowing child's pose. Knees can stay a little wide if you like, or they can come back in over the hips if you like. We're gonna swing our hips over toward our right heel, pull the hips back toward that heel like you're reaching for a child's pose. Roll across at the bottom, hips come to the opposite heel. We lift our way back up through a tabletop. Exhale to draw hips toward left heel, roll across at the bottom. Inhale, table. Next time you come to the top, pause, switch directions. Pulling those hips toward right heel, pull back, roll across. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop back. Finishing the cycle that you're on. Pausing tabletop. If knees are wide, bringing the knees back in line with the hips. We'll flow a few times through thread the needle, and then we'll land in it as a stretch. So grounding through the palm of the left hand. Inhale, open yourself up to the right. Reach the right fingertips high. Exhale, turning the heart down toward the mat, and then just a little bit toward the left as you reach those fingertips under opposite arm. Inhale, twisting open right. Exhale, drawing down, thread the needle. One more inhale to open yourself up. Exhale, land in your stretch here. Shoulder and temple, find the mat. If you like props and you have them, grab your props. As we soften down into this shape, we see if we can keep the hips pretty square so they're not pulling over toward one side of the mat. If left arm feels good, we're gonna leave it where it is, or we can spider walk those fingers out toward the top of our mat. Or we can sweep that hand up onto the low back, bend the elbow, let the forearm or hand rest at the low back. Taking one more full or extended, using that breath to bring your left hand back under the left shoulder. Waiting for an inhale, press yourself up into one more twist to the right, reaching the right fingertips for the ceiling. Pause, take a couple wrist circles one direction, wrist circles other direction, and settle that hand back under the shoulder. Grounding through that right hand. Wait for your next inhale, opening to the left to start your twist. Taking one more breath. Sliding into your stretch this side. Maybe it's the same variation for the right arm. Maybe it's different. Taking one more full breath to bring that supporting hand back under the shoulder if it's not there already. Then inhale, opening yourself up. One more twist in the opposite direction, circling the wrist. Bringing the hand down. We're gonna come over onto our backs. If it works for you, cross the ankles, bring the hips back toward the feet and roll over the feet. If it does not work for you, find your way around through seated, however does work. Support yourself as you slow lower down onto your back and find Ardha Shavasana, half corpse. Bringing the arms out to a nice wide T, palms facing the earth. If that doesn't feel good for the shoulders, bring the arms down just a little lower so they're at about a 45-degree angle. We're gonna lift the legs so we keep a 90-degree bend in the knee and lower legs are parallel to the floor. We're gonna find a revolved abdomen flow here. So we're gonna imagine we've got a yoga block or a Pilates ball between the knees. Our knees will stay parallel as we flow. Big inhale in center. As you exhale, allow those knees to drop over to the right side just as far as they'll go without the right knee going further forward than the left. Inhale, lift through center. Exhale, lower left just as far as they'll go. Knees stay parallel. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Next time the legs come to the right, we're going to let them take us all the way over to a spinal twist. So now we're not thinking about what the legs, our hips are doing. We're just letting those knees draw all the way over to the earth. And then we notice what happened with the left shoulder. And if it lifted up off of the floor, we're either going to tuck that arm in closer to the body, or we're going to bend the elbow and rest the forearm or wrist on the waist. Gaze can be to the ceiling here if you like, or if you want to bring that twist up into cervical spine, you could look out to your left. Supporting yourself with your arms, with your core, however you need to support the low back as you lift those legs back up. Arms are out to a T or a low T. We find that 90-degree bend in the knees, legs squeezing into that invisible prop. Lift and lower a few times side to side. Next time the legs fall to the left, let them come all the way over toward the earth. Left knee's gonna reach further forward than the right. Hips are gonna do whatever they want. And we check right shoulder. If it tries to lift up off the mat, we're gonna tuck that arm in a little closer to the body, or we're gonna bend the elbow, rest the hand or the forearm on the waist. Choosing gaze to the ceiling or gaze to the right. Supporting your body, your spine, your tissues in whatever way you need to slowly, mindfully bring those legs up and find knees to chest pose. Take a little rock, roll, knee circles, happy baby. Finding stillness, coming back to that sense of gentle observation of the physical self. Is the body asking for anything in this moment? Maybe checking in with the thoughts or with the nervous system. Honoring whatever comes up here, whatever movement, wiggle, shake, stretch feels good to bring your own practice to a close. And beginning beginning to soften your way down into a relaxed shape, whatever posture calls to you for a moment of stillness here. If you like Shavasana, corpse pose, maybe the legs come a little wide to allow hip flexors to relax. Arms come a little wide, shoulders relaxed, or maybe there's another posture here that feels better. Whatever we're choosing, really allowing all those soft tissues to fully let go. Allowing yourself to be held by your mat, held by your props. Resting down toward the support of the earth. As you allow the mind and the body a moment to really let go. Gently bringing awareness to where the back of your body is resting on your mat or your props. Gently rocking one shoulder a little more firmly toward the earth. Pressing other shoulder a little more firmly to the earth. Relaxing the shoulders, pressing one glute, hip down a little closer to the earth. Rocking opposite hip. Relaxing the hips, sliding your legs long on your mat, arms overhead, full body east to west stretch. Long through the toes, feet, legs, belly, spine, arms, neck, reach, reach, reach. Inviting bent knees into the belly, hands to the knees. Give yourself a little squeeze. Allowing those knees to take you over to one side, finding fetal position. Head is cradled by one arm. Again, pause. Take a couple full breaths. Getting ready to use the support of your top arm, pressing your way up, meeting where we started. Easy pose, Sukhasana. And once again, bringing awareness to the sits bones, grounding in your seat, finding your long spine. Long through the crown of the head, soft shoulders. Gaze soft or eyes closed, checking back in with the physical self. What feels the same at the end of your practice? What feels different? What would you like to take off of your mat out into the rest of your day? What could you maybe leave behind that isn't serving you? The invitation today to maybe take some ahimsa off of your mat into the rest of your day, sharing that kindness, compassion, grace, humility with everyone that you meet, knowing that you don't know their story. Taking one more full breath. Floating or fluttering, eyes open, taking a big inhale to bring the hands overhead. Exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Keeping that little space at the center of the palms, that little space of potential, seed of potential as you gently press the thumbs into the sternum. Gently bowing the head, letting the gaze come down toward the tops of the fingers. Thank you all so much for practicing with me this morning.